Hello, guys. So, what we're about to do is talk about, we'll give an update real quick on some information that I found out about this 19-year-old from Georgia healthcare worker that is facing felony charges for twerking on a disabled person's head. Now, this particular page actually shows the video, but I'm not gonna do that because just alone what's going on is disturbing. So I don't want to put the young man out there or anything like that. So welcome. I did do a video trying to explain as much as I could. I don't think I did any justice, but the difference between a NA, a CNA, so on and so forth. And I wanted to know what exactly she was because I figured she couldn't be certified or licensed in anything to want to do something like that and jeopardize that career. So what I found out is I'm gonna put her back on the screen because I want y'all to look at her when I tell y'all this. So as I said in my previous video, she works for SNL Healthcare in Loganville, Georgia. What I didn't report is that the business was family owned, and she had several videos of the same male, of other people too, but of the same male in her phone. Once the police confiscated her phone and went through it, and she allegedly told the police that the guy in the video that she exploited was a paid actor, which I think I said that in the first video that she probably could have paid like a cousin or something, but she told the police allegedly that the guy was a paid actor, right? And I had to take notes. So before I continue, I need to give credit what credit is due. I got this information from Tasha K, and I wanted to like play bits and pieces, but I know that girl is quick to sue somebody. And I'm broke over here, and I don't want her suing me for my dog. So I just decided that I was just going to take notes and tell y'all that's where I got it from. She did the interview today. Go check her out because it was pretty good. At least to me because I like this type of thing, especially when you throwing it out there. But anyway, this young lady was arrested, but she did bail out, and her bail was $7,500, right? Okay, so I don't know if I said it, but the business was family owned. It was said in the interview that Tasha K done, which was with the young man's sister. She said that this girl, whose name is Lucretia, I'm not going to say the last name, but it sure is out there on the internet if you want to find out. But she wasn't even hired to take care of the young guy. And I want to throw in there that the young man that's in the video, his sister who's doing the interview, said that the family company, like the mother, was originally hired and to care for her mother and her brother, which is the guy in the video. So the guy in the video and his grandma was being cared for by this young lady and her mother, her family. But from what the sister understood it to be, it was only the mother that was hired because it was the mother who she did the background checks on. And I think you got to go watch the video, but I think she said that the woman was actually referred to her like 2 years ago. And so the background checks, she do like the whole payroll company, like long story short, the business is legit. Okay, so I guess the mother checked out. This little girl. So like I said in my other video, everything is supposed to be explained to you in the paperwork. So I was saying, like, if the company hired her and she's not certified, that's supposed to be spelled out in the paperwork. And if she doesn't have any type of training like CPR training or any of that, because all of that's supposed to be on file and all of that is supposed to be shown to the client. So apparently, from what I gathered from the interview, none of that was gathered on Lucretia because Lucretia wasn't the one hired to do the job. Like I told y'all, a lot of these places aren't on the up and up. And I don't know what you got to do to get licensing, but what I do know is a lot of these smaller companies, which I'm assuming, and if this is family owned, it's not like franchised out. And I'm only assuming, and I could be wrong. However, if she's hiring her family members to care for patients, that only tells me that yeah, I'm not gonna assume it's one of those companies that I would have worked for one day and quit. Seriously. And that's why I have experience with so many companies, because it only takes a couple of days for you to get in, or after that first check and you realize something ain't right. It's some been times where you don't even get that first check. Like the door be locked and they be like, I'm on my way. Or I had to pick up checks so they didn't have it printed. Or I'm gonna have to pay y'all next week. Yeah. And then on top of that, you start seeing what's walking through the door. And for me, I consider myself I don't want to brag, but I really enjoyed my job. So therefore I was very good at it. And when I worked for a company and if I left on good terms, I was always called back. I always had clients that wanted to hire me personally, but that was against the rules. So when you see other caregivers walking through the door, yeah, and they're representing a company and you're representing that same company, it's like, no, because I might get sent to that house that they left. And believe me, as a CNA or a healthcare worker or NA, you go in behind a client, you go to a client's house behind someone who wasn't so good, you're not welcome with open arms, at least not in the beginning. You have to prove that you are worthy. So there are times where people are just so desperate because, like I said, it's a revolving door and good help is hard to find. So they'll just take whatever they get because they might not have an aide next week or in 3 or 4 days because no one might not show up. And which is another reason why credentials are thrown out the door for a lot of these companies because they need the help that bad. So it's easier to just send somebody out there that at least know how to clean and cook and can assist with showers versus no one at all, because most people that do blood pressures and all the all the hands-on stuff normally have to be certified. And just about everybody, the good companies require just about everybody to at least know how to take a blood pressure and be CPR certified and have their TB tests on file. So not all companies are like that, guys. So make sure you're doing your backup. I mean your backup. I'm thinking about a totally different video. Make sure you're doing your checks and your background checks when you hire folks to come out to your house, even if the company is reputable. Check out the workers because they might have a good name, but these folks that they just letting come in because they desperate for workers because they want to keep their doors open and they don't want to lose all their clients, or the Medicaid checks are however they getting paid, they don't want to lose it. So let me tell you something else I know about that might shed some light on these companies. So as far as I know, it's not against the law, but this is something that people do. So let's say I was an agency and I had a client come to me because they get a check every month, or through the state or whatever, they get an allowance that they can pay a facility, sign a facility up to come out and care for their loved one for 4 hours, 6 hours, 2 hours, whatever, right? So let's say the mom is a stay home mom because maybe she's handicapped or got smaller kids and work from home, or something like that. That company can sign the mother up to take care of their own child. And that company gets paid to pay that mom to sit at home. Well, because they're putting them on their payroll and they really can't send them nowhere else, they kind of just work out a deal. You know what I mean? So when I say some of these companies are shady, they're shady. Which brings me back to the Tasha K interview, right? So this young lady, let me put it back up on the screen real fast. This young lady here, right? I said she was 19 years old, right? And I also said that she was charged with a felony. She's from Loganville, Georgia. I went over all of that. She tried to tell the cops allegedly that the guy in the video was a paid actor. But the sister that did the interview on Tasha K said he indeed was not. Her brother had the mental capacity of a 5-year-old, and he had no clue what was going on, and he's been mentally retarded, and these are her words, since birth. Okay. Now, her brother, she said, do not have the ability to say whether like Lucretia touched him or did anything inappropriate to him any other kind of way. Like he just can't communicate that to her, which is very sad and has her pissed off, which she should be. And I don't think she knows or have seen the video that the cops are saying that is on this girl's phone of her brother and her, Lucretia, the healthcare worker. But she said that they did tell her that she had other videos with her brother on her phone, which is very disturbing. Again, guys, listen. I don't care what nobody say. Something is mentally wrong with this chick. Cause how can you wait a minute? Not only did you just mess up your life, you just messed up your mom. Your whole family is being exploited because of this, because because you wanted some likes or some followers or some. I don't. We can't keep doing this, guys. We can't let social media get us so hyped up and so competitive that we want to explore anybody, our own for one, but don't nobody deserve this. Nobody. But when you're talking about someone who's disabled and can't fend for themselves, and from what this young lady, the sister, said, can't verbally speak up for himself. And she was pretty upset about it because something that made me sad that she said in the video, she said that she felt like she was a failure. Like she let her brother down. And no, 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 sister. Not at all. I will be the first to tell you I have personally worked for these facilities, and one, it is some really good ones out there, but two, if they are family ran and they're hiring family, and this even goes for bigger facilities, because I've said before, I work for the post office, and it is a problem when they hire their family. And because, when stuff happens, they can have the paperwork doctored up however they want it, right? It don't matter what you do, how much digging you do when it comes to a family owned business, especially one like this, because they can make the paperwork look however they want. The only thing they can't do, in which nowadays they probably can with technology, is print up a faulty CPR certification. But that certification is going to have a number on it that should be traceable through the state. The same thing I was trying to explain about a CNA. Even though they're at the bottom of the bottom, they do the dirtiest of the work and they don't get paid a whole lot, but they did go to school or class or something for some period of time. For me, it was like I said, I think 3 months to get that certification. And you do go in front of like a board type deal, and you're doing different stuff in front of people who certify you from the state. That's how it was for me. So, and you have to keep it up. I mean, because it can expire. So you have to stay on top of that and be recertified. So I figured she wasn't certified. So when you start talking about NAs or home health aides, basically that questionnaire, from what I remember, is only asking you, can you wash dishes? Can you sweep? Can you fold? Like, they're not taught the basic CPR, how to catch someone if they're starting to fall. Which side do you walk with them on if they've had a stroke? Like on their left side, like which side do you assist? Like, none of that is asked if you walk in as a home health aide or an NA. So I can see how this young lady is very disappointed in the company, but I think she did everything right because she said she did all the background checks. She went over the paperwork. She did everything she was supposed to do. And I think she said it's been 2 years. So if it's been that long and you working with someone, I'm not sure, you gotta go watch the video, but if I'm remembering right, if it's been that long, then you done earned, well, they done earned trust. But I want to also throw in there that she said that when she confronted the mother played it off like, oh, it's just a kid being a kid. You know how kids are. No, I don't. That's disrespectful even for a child. But this girl is 19. She's considered grown. She might can't buy alcohol or cigarettes. Well, not legally anyway. But that's not a kid being a kid, because if that's how children act in your house, then everyone in your home needs to be investigated. And I'm just being serious because that's mentally disturbing. Imagine how this is now mentally disturbing the sister, the whole family. Like she had said, they wanted to, I won't repeat, but go off, and not the legal way. But she said she pumped her brakes and was like, no, we gonna hit them where it hurts. And that's what you should do. But still, at the end of the day, that 19-year-old is lucky that the sister and the cousins were able to control themselves and not go after her, because that's despicable. That's despicable. And God forbid if you did anything else. But just how many more is out there is the question. And then, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been employed at your mom's company? And like, I could ask a whole lot of questions, but I'm sure once they start doing their investigation, all those answers are going to come out. So I don't like talking bad and putting stuff out there, which I very well should, especially on something like this. But I'm pretty sure there's other dirty stuff out there. I'm pretty sure that that chick is probably being put on payroll as working overtime and not working, getting paid to be at work and not at work, especially if it's a legit payroll and you're getting money from the state. So they need to do some investigation. That's all I'm going to say. Furthermore, I personally feel like the sister is handling it the right way. I do understand where she's coming from when she say she felt like she let him down, meaning her brother, because by the time she found out about it, it was viral. It was nothing she could do. Literally, it was nothing you could do. Like, you're not there to see that the girl was doing this. And the only way you could have been is if you would have put cameras in your house. However, I think she also mentioned in the video, I'm not real sure, but I think she also said that these same people, this SNL healthcare company, provided like weekend stay or overnight stay. That is tremendously hard to find. Like, that's a miracle within itself. So the only way you can feel like you failed was because you is no way. Like, I can't even think of nothing. Like, you did everything you were supposed to do as a guardian. How people doctor up paperwork and lie and act in such filthy, disgusting ways is out of your hands. But no, I didn't know that type of stuff, like the twerking and stuff was going on. But it's a lot of abuse going on in the healthcare system, like nursing homes and retirement homes and home health. You would, well, maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but like I said in my last video, guys, go check in on your loved ones. We hate to throw color out there, but we as Black people don't do that. Seriously. As it is, even if they're not in a home or a facility, they can live down the street and you don't want to go check on them. Check on them. Even if it's just 5 minutes and you don't necessarily get along with them, they know that. I just want to make sure you was all right. Make sure they ain't laying on the floor or something. But as a whole, I don't care what color you are, check on your people if they're in a facility. Or if you know that an aid is going out to their home, check on them. There's reasons why. And another thing I want to say is you got to remember it's a buddy system out there in most employers in employment but what I'm meaning is, let's say I had my own agency, but I originally used to work at a different agency and I branched off and got my own. But I'm cool with this agency, right? So now my employees that never worked in home health or a nursing home before needs a reference. I'm going to call my friend Cindy over at the place I left and say, hey, I'm going to use you as reference for my employees so that when clients come in, and want to check references, I'm going to use you. And then I'm going to use my other cousin as a home health um, reference, and I'm going to use this person as, so everybody that they got listed, which could be 5, 10, 20, it's people they know. People that know to look out for a phone call if you get a phone call for a reference. And if that person say, well, I want to call the nursing home that they used to work at. Well, 9 times out of 10, that reception is work Monday through Friday. And that's when you're going to tell them people to call. So therefore, all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. So no matter how much digging somebody do, unless they start doing personal background checks, which I don't know if it's even allowed, there's nothing else you can do. And that's bad. That's really bad. Yeah. It's bad and it's sad that, for something that's needed, like assistance in home health is really needed because, for one, a lot of people can't even afford to put their loved one in a nursing home or some type of facility because they're going 7, 9,000 or more a month, and the insurances don't cover the whole bill unless they just had damn good insurance. So the next best thing is home health aid. That's all you can afford, and you desperately need the help, so you're not going to turn it away. But then you find out that you can't even trust them if they're not abusing your loved ones. They're stealing from you. They'll go as far as stealing your food and say they cooked it for that person and didn't. They ate it themselves or took it home to cook. Like, it's, put cameras in your house. They're so cheap now, and you can watch them from your phone. You can even talk on them. If you see something going on, you can send the police. Like, put cameras in your house. That's all I gotta say. But listen, I feel like the sister handled herself well. I feel like what she's doing is the best thing that she can do. Is keeping herself out of trouble because she has to be there for her mother and her brother from what I picked up on the interview. Again, this interview came from Tasha K. Um, so I think I mentioned that when she confronted the mom and she asked the mom, like, where were you when all this was going on, since that's who was supposed to be taking care of her brother. And the mom said, oh, I just ran out to get something to eat. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You probably was at somebody else's house getting double paid. That's what you was doing. And if it's your name on that paperwork that's supposed to be getting that check, your daughter was just filling in for you as a body so you can still get that check while you go over here and get another check. And you probably got your cousin over here under your name getting another check. Because if you in people's home and these companies are not doing pop-ups, how do they know? But this was supposed to be a family-owned business, so all of that is very confusing to me. And I get, well, again, the girl said that she was under the impression that the mother was taking care of them. But if the mother is hiring her family member, she can very well say she sent her out as a replacement. But guys, this is still all mentally destroying. And if we're going to get stronger as a people, as a nation, and not keep letting mental health win, we can't be doing this type of stuff. And we got to be looking out for one another. And when we're talking about those that are challenged in any type of way, we got to be helping them because they trust us. And and a lot of times when you see someone disabled in public and you looking around at other people, they're staring. That bothers me. And some people even act like they might be even a a little afraid because someone else is different. That bothers me. And if you're that person or you know someone that's like that, let me tell you from experience, they're just as afraid. They are just afraid of you as you are them. If not more, they're more afraid of you because one, they automatically thinking that they're being judged, which they are, which isn't fair. They know they're different. They don't need you to stare and remind them that they're different. What they do want you to do is treat them like you would if you see me. Hey, how you doing? That's all they ask. Just speak. And it's gonna blow their minds. Do it one day. If you've never went out of your way to speak to someone with a disability or that's challenged in any type of way, do it. Because they're going to look like, it's going to be like Miss America speaking to them. And maybe that's what this little girl thought, because maybe she was thinking, well, if I do this and they ain't going to never have no woman touch them like this, she need her ass whooped. I don't know what she was thinking, but she need her ass whooped. And I hope she don't think she was doing anybody no favors, because all she was doing is making their life worse, as well as hers, all for some followers that you're not going to even benefit from right now. So again, let's think about what we're posting on social media, especially when it comes to someone else. When you're exploiting other people, you damn well need to be sued and locked up and had your ass whooped. But I ain't say that out loud. I was thinking it. Y'all didn't hear that. But I got something else to tell you. Y'all look here. This was 2 days ago. Well, it said Sunday. This happened Sunday. What was that? February the 2nd, I think. This was posted, yeah, the 3rd. So yeah, this happened Sunday, guys. Care worker charged in beating an 82-year-old patient that turned deadly. Now check this dude out. These mugs. Okay, so I'm gonna try this again. I had to stop, y'all. I started reading this. I need to I honestly need to start proofreading these things before I get on here and calling myself doing a video, because once I got okay, so let's do this. So this guy right here, I think it said he's 28 years old. He's a care worker from Augusta, Georgia, and he's being charged in a beating of an 82-year-old who, in which it turned deadly, right? So Richmond County Coroner Mark Bowen says his office is investigating a suspicious death that happened in January. Pay attention to this timeline because this is crazy. Now, this was just posted on February 3rd. This incident happened in January. Okay. So the coroner's office, Mr. Bowen, said that the victim, Harry Millard, 82, was a resident at Barclay Senior Living in the 200 block of Fraser Court, and where he suffered injuries in January and later died at the hospital. So now check this out. On January 29th at 4:05, deputies responded to this home, this senior living home, Barclay Senior Living Home, after being notified of the past assault. Now, this was January 29th. The Barclay Senior Living contacted the police. Excuse me. Deputies said that they were told that management staff learned of the assault incident between a nursing assistant and a resident slash patient that occurred on January 5th. Now, he's just a nursing assistant, I guess about like Lucretia, right? Okay. So, the nursing assistant name is Curtis Hightower, and he is 28. He was arrested on Sunday, which was February the 2nd, and was charged with exploitation of an elderly or disabled person in aggravated battery, according to jail records. What is up with people wanting to take advantage of these disabled people? This dude was 28 years old and the patient was 82. Like, what the hell was you thinking? And then you gonna punch him? Really, you gonna somebody in jail need to beat this dude down. And I don't like promoting violence at all. But you just hit somebody's 82-year-old grandfather. Knocked him to the floor. Okay. Let me not spoil it. Okay. So deputies said management was initially told that the injuries were due to a fall and that Miller was transported to Piedmont Hospital for treatment. Miller was pronounced dead at the hospital on January 17th. Okay. So it happened on January 5th. They called the police. The dude was okay. It happened on January 5th. He was pronounced dead on January 17th. They didn't tell the police about the incident until January 29th. Something's wrong. Okay. After learning of Miller's death, management staff reviewed video footage, which they should have done in the first place, and saw the assault in which nursing assistant Hightower struck Miller with a hand or fist, apparently causing Miller to fall just outside of room 314. According to arrest warrants, Hightower, oh God. Yeah, I'm getting pissed off. And I don't want to pause the video again. Okay. According to arrest warrants, Hightower did strike said victim with a closed fist, causing the victim to fall to the floor. The 82-year-old man fell to the floor or to the ground where the victim's head bounced off the floor, resulting in said victim to lose consciousness. Well, let me finish. As a result of Hightower's actions, arrest warrants state that Miller, the 28-year-old nursing assistant, Miller, the 82-year-old patient, sustained hemorrhage. I ain't gonna even screw up that word. Brain hemorrhage. Deputies said they were told Hightower is no longer working at the facility and he was a temp who was hired or placed through a contracted staff agency, Consolidated Medical Staffing. The investigation is ongoing. Guys, listen. I said in my last video that I work for many companies in which they will send you out to these nursing homes. And so a lot of times the family come in and they think you're part of the staff and you're not. That could be your first and only day there because you're just there as a fill-in. It was days where I would work 2 facilities in one day. I'm not part of their staff. And that sounds like that's what he was. However, I had to be certified. So all I can say is, well, it's several things I want to share with you, right? Nursing homes, retirement homes, disabled homes, facilities. Like, first of all, I want to say this safely. First of all, as we age, especially lighter skinned people, white people, really light skinned black people, their skin get really thin. And so you can honestly be helping a client and they can be walking and you can catch them to fall. And just by grabbing their arm or something, you can bruise them. And you were doing something to save their life, possibly. It happens. It's been time where we've had patients going down to the floor about to fall out the bed, and you reach to grab them to keep them from hitting the floor, and they still kind of slide a little bit. Well, while their arm is sliding, you might take their skin with you. It happens because it does get very thin. I just don't know how to describe it. So the reason why I brought that up is because sometimes accidents do happen in which the doctor or the doctor has to be called in or the patient has to be taken to the hospital for care. And it's clearly an accident, like you were doing your job. Then there's times where stuff like that happens and the nurse's aide or the home health aide or even the CNA. Hell, I've even seen some bad RNs that would do shit like that on purpose. However, 9 times out of 10, it was reported right then. So, what I'm confused is because usually they leave the facility, especially if he was unconscious. They said Mr. Miller, 82 years old, was unconscious. So when that ambulance came to pick him up and took him to the hospital, they did everything they had to do then to try to figure out what happened. You best believe they told that facility that night, or as soon as they found out, that it was due to a blow to the head of hitting something very hard like the floor or the wall. That facility viewed that tape that day, or they were supposed to. So that nigga knew, excuse my language, that dude knew what the heck he done. He probably didn't go to work the next day. They probably fired him soon as that man had to be taken out of there. So this whole storyline, again, this is just me expressing my opinion on how I remember how things used to go. But that's been a while. Let me tell you how long it's been. So I started in the nursing home when I was 18, 19. I was 19. And so how I got hired is I went to a nursing home and I applied for a job. And they put me through training, through school. And that was back then the easiest way to get a trade without no money or having to pay for the classes at Greenwood Tech. You just had to sign like a year contract that you would work for them for like a year. Okay, I'll do that. Or it might have been 6 months. So they put you through school and you agree to work for them for like 6 months to a year once you get your certification. So I was like 18 and I got a 21-year-old. I got a 33-year-old. My 21s are twins and I got a 29-year-old. So I'm in age, right? It's been a while since I've been in this field. So therefore, things might have done changed a little bit. But when it comes to verification or checking up on someone who has gotten hurt, then the rules should have only done got stricter, not weaker. We're not trying to go backwards here. We're trying to hold people accountable and making sure that folks' loved ones are getting taken care of, because this type of healthcare is not cheap. For something that pays very little, it costs a whole lot to obtain. And it's hard to get good help for that reason. If they paid their workers more and gave them benefits, good benefits, then they wouldn't have a revolving door, which is some good facilities out there that do pay decent. And those are the ones that's hard to get in because them folks don't quit. Once you get into a facility that pay you good, that give you your days off like they supposed to, and everybody works as a team, no client is being abused, at least not intentionally, then that's the type of place you want to work for, and they are hard to find. But they're hard to find because once people get in, they're not trying to leave because it's a good place. And sometimes the pay can still suck, but you realize that everybody on staff cares about the patients that's there, the clients that's there. And that's a big deal to those who are in the field out of passion. People that are in it just to get a quick paycheck because they know that you can get hired like that as an NA or home health with no experience or very little, or don't even have to prove it. They're not in it because they want to show love to those that need help the most. They're just there to get a paycheck. How anyone can lose their temper and put their fist to an 82-year-old face and make their head bounce off the floor beats the hell out of me. We gotta do better. Absolutely no one deserves this type of treatment. But when we're now bringing in the elderly and the disabled, the handicapped, we're going to get old one day. And we don't want nobody treating us like that, dragging us, beating the hell out of us because we don't want to eat, so you're going to smack us around. People do that. That's why I say check in on your loved ones. Because, these folks will put bruises on your loved ones in places you wouldn't even think, all because they just mad. They just having a bad day. Or because they slipped up and peed on themselves. It's bad. And it's destroying. It's destroying our communities mentally because people are now going to be afraid of home health workers that much more. People are now going to be afraid to even seek the help. Now they're going to be worried that much more about their loved one, or they're going to be worried that they need to quit their job or find a different job so they can do it themselves. It's not good. But it needs to be brought up and it needs to be talked about, and more of this needs to be pushed out so that the community can start talking. More people can start going in and volunteering and seeing. Just walking through the front door of half of these facilities says a lot. And maybe everyone needs to start being certified because, if you take the time and go through those classes and then go through the certification, not just answering 10 questions on a page, like can you make a bed? Can you boil hot water? Then maybe they'll get better help and raise the pay. Like you want to pay fast food workers $15 and $16 an hour, but home health agencies are still paying $9 and $10 an hour. I know because I still get the emails. That's ridiculous. Okay, you're going to pay me for my travel, but I get paid from your facility to the patient's home, not my house to your facility to the patient's home, because you got to go check in every day. So it's a catch-22. Our certified nursing assistants and MAs and med techs and DSPs, they all need to be paid a lot more. A lot more. Because they do go through the course of being certified in whichever thing, if not all of them. to be in that field, to learn what they need to learn, to better care for your loved one or you possibly, because we all gonna be there one day. So you want to make sure you have a good aid for your family or for your loved one, and paying them $9 an hour ain't gonna get it, which is why a lot of people try to pay you on the side, especially when they realize they got a good one. They really want to pay you on the side to keep you, but you can't do it. It's against the rules of that company. So you can't even leave the company to take a private duty job knowing that it's going to pay you a lot more because the company can sue you. All I ask is that, one, if you see someone that's challenged in any type of way, disabled or, you know, mentally challenged, like autism or something, because a lot of them hold jobs that we see every day in like Walmart and stuff. Make sure you speak to them. Tell them when you're walking out to have a good day. It's going to lighten their world up. And if you got someone disabled in your family and you're taking care of them, kudos to you, because I personally know how hard it is. And I'm talking about everything, like not just disabled. I'm talking elderly, Alzheimer's, um, just aging period. It's tough, especially if it's your loved one, because one, your heart's there first. And then to see them go through it, and then now you're having to do all the things you would do as if they were an infant. It's tough, which is another reason why people hire help, because it takes a lot off them mentally, because it's mentally draining, it's mentally affecting, especially if you've ever had to deal with a loved one with Alzheimer's or dementia. Yeah. So, we're supposed to be showing special love for our elderly and for our disabled people. And it seemed like people are taking advantage of it. Like this young lady and her brother who hired SNL, and the 19-year-old exploited him on TikTok. She was taken advantage of. She had two family members that needed help, and this woman saw, okay, I can get two checks and I can get my daughter to help me. She was taken advantage of. It was like easy money. I'm guaranteed, and I'm only assuming, this is strictly my opinion, guys. You already know. Strictly my opinion. And as far as I know, all of this could be alleged, but the articles I just showed y'all clearly said charged. Let's not let this be a habit. And if you know someone that's abusing patients or taking advantage of the elderly or disabled, make sure you're speaking up. Call and report it, because it's not cool. It's not cool. And you would think those are the last ones that get taken advantage of, but they're actually easy prey, because a lot of them don't have no one to speak up for them. So it's folks out there that's robbing them blind of the benefits, of their money, walking out their house with stuff, treating them bad. It's horrible. It's horrible. And if you one of those assholes that treat people like that and you're in this field, get out. Go work at the trash company or something, because that's what you are. If you're treating anyone, even if they don't have a disability or if they're elderly, if you are deliberately going around mistreating people, you are part of the problem. And we're trying to heal around here. Don't nobody want to walk around sick, sad, depressed, scared all the time, every day of their life. I'm done venting. And I really appreciate you guys taking just a whole lot of time out to listen to me vent. Until next time, like and subscribe.